I'm Johan Durant, and this is the APTA Tour.
See you in Boston.
Hello and welcome to the APTA Tour. We are live from the Weston Golf Club in Weston, Massachusetts, bringing you the Boston Open Grand Prix, a 2022-23 APTA Tour event, which is the ace stop on the APTA Tour, presented by Remedy Plus and sponsored by APTA Membership. The APTA national sponsors Paddle Pro and Fusion, and local sponsors. Title sponsor Discipline Alpha LLC. Platinum sponsors Labor LLC, Worcester Air, and Weston Golf Club, and gold sponsors Xenon, Owl's Nest Resorts, and Bully Boy Distillers, and silver sponsor Narragansett Beer. I'm Brad Easterbrook alongside Mark Fischel, bringing you men's semi-final round action between our number 3 seeds of Mark Powers and John Hughes against the unseeded team of Graham McNerney and Thomas Nolan. Mark, welcome to the booth.
Good morning, Bradford. It's going to be a fun match. We saw McNerney and Nolan have a big win yesterday over the defending national champions, Borussia Doyas. Let's introduce the players, then we'll take a look at the draw. So in the blue jacket at the net is Thomas Nolan and his partner, Graham McNerney, who everybody should be familiar with because Graham plays every week, and there's been talk that if Graham doesn't play, it's not a legitimate tournament. On the far side, the lefty in the kind of the gray hoodie, John Hughes, who's still, I guess, in mourning over the Bruin loss, and his partner, Mark Powers. So let's take a fast look at the draw, see how these teams got here. So Hughes Powers, demolishment of Uriah Parsons, and McNerney and Nolan with a 3-set battle after getting through Broderick and Vauclair.
Yeah, interesting scores there. 6-love in the third against Borussia Doya. So great win for them. And have Nolan and McNerney played together much before?
No, I mean, Nolan's been looking for a partner for a bunch of years. Very solid, played a bunch of tournaments with Martin Bostrom, but really hasn't had a regular partner. Is one of those wild cards that's always looking to connect with someone at nationals.
Right. You know, he's got a lot of offense. His swing can get a little big at times. You got to watch that, but he can definitely bring the offense, both the forehand and the backhand. He's dangerous if you try to go into the side screen. He can cut it off, but he can get prone to errors at certain times.
Yeah, the forehand is a little bit loopy, as you referred to. Big swing, backhand just really solid. And of course, they're facing Hughes and Powers, who've been one of the top teams in the country. 1 national championship, 2 national finals in addition to that. You know, really explosive team. Maybe the team in the country, one of the teams in the country that really likes to play the fastest.
Yeah, for sure. They are very athletic. You know, they dig the ball great. Hughes and Powers, you know, ton of offense. Hughes, the more athletic the point gets, the better he gets. Powers probably, in my mind, is the best spotter of the drive in the game. I'd even put him maybe a smidgen ahead of like a guy like Durant. He just spots the ball so well with that quick release.
New York, Mark Powers.
Sharon Barfield forward.
Hughes Powers have won the toss and are elected to receive.
And, you know, McNerney is no secret here. He's got sort of a book on every player out there, how he wants to play, where he wants to go with it. You know, and the question with him, he's probably one of the best block lobbers in the game. He's a great volleyer, terrific at the net. He has cut overheads finishing. The only knock has ever been he doesn't have a ton of backboard offense, but he's learned how to work with that by moving the lobs beautifully. If you try to play him over and over in the backcourt, you know, he moves the lobs around, then he uses blitzes and quick one-off drives. He's also an excellent driver off the screen, but people have a place to go when they just sort of push it to him slow.
The other thing that he does exceptionally well, and I would say possibly with the exception of Sven Burris, he's got a great serve to the ad court.
Yep.
And we saw in Boston, he really neutralized the Stephen Mitchell return to serve. And that when he played with Juan Araya in the semis, that made it a very competitive match.
You know, it's a great point about matchups, Mark, because, you know, Mark Powers has one of the best returns in the ad court. He takes it early, he can really drive the ball hard. He has the ability to also off-pace it and dip it low, you know, but that huge serve might mitigate that a little bit and get a few points away from Hughes and Powers. They're going to have to work harder to get him.
Rand Mitchell will start in the next court. Bradford, do you think they're going to be tired from all the activity they had yesterday?
I don't think so. The only thing exhausting Hughes and Powers is going to be the, like you said, you know, John Hughes is a huge Bruins fan, and they had a bad loss last night in the last second, I believe it was.
No, I was referring to Durant Mitchell and how much effort they had to put into their quarterfinal win.
Oh, their quarterfinal win. They were pretty impressive yesterday. I mean, like you said, they were or Sublime. They've done it a couple of times here. What was it, 6-2, 6-love?
Yeah. Over a team they've played, played them very competitively and has beaten them. And as we see, the same as in Detroit, we see Chris Humphries in the ad court, the lefty digging the balls out of the corner.
Yep, and we have that on our second YouTube channel. You can check out the action there. And actually, it's interesting for Humphries and Osasconi. They're round 3 of this, right? They've faced them. This will be their 3rd time in a semi or a final, and so they're trying to learn each step of the way. And in my mind, that's Humphries and Osasconi, the most improved team of the year.
Unquestionably. Okay, looks like we're getting started here. McNerney and Nolan having a few last words. Pretty sure McNerney will be taking us out.
It's been interesting. You mentioned Hughes Powers, our national champions, 2 finals. One of the finals, sort of exposed an early weakness that people know were out there for Hughes Powers. They would push the ball soft to the Hughes forehand. He's worked on that. He's developed his forehand. He takes it off the deck much earlier now. Makes guys punish him or at least have to volley and play. Great match. Curious as to the strategies that they're going to use. McNerney and Nolan. And there you go, see like the average ball soft to the middle, and he's going right away, just hitting it. Oh, that's a great ball there from Powers. And those forehands that he's hitting a couple of years ago in the national final, he wouldn't hit that ball. And now just the fact that he hits it allows the volley to come. And then once the volley happens, then Powers can get in there as well.
Yeah, he really has improved the forehand. Shortened the swing up a little bit. We worked with Jim Kaufman on that a lot.
15-30.
Those are the 2 serves you'll see from Those are the 2 serves you'll see from McNerney to Powers. Will go soft down the middle and then hard into the corner.
Great place drive, and he held it. At the last second, he just turned his paddle face and snuck it behind Hughes there.
McNerney is certainly one of the best net players in the country.
Now you'll see Thomas Nolan, he has that unique sort of technique, and he'll hit a lot of forehand volleys, and it's almost like an Eastern forehand grip. So unique in that regard. He's not that traditional, like lock down the net. He'll actually stand in there and use his forehand. There he's got the 2-handed backhand. It's a slightly different technique.
We're switching to the net to get McNerney's overhead in the middle. Catches the nick there.
Great shot.
40-30.
Well, that was an outpouring of emotion from Mark Powers. He kind of rolled his eye a little bit.
Yeah.
The left one, not the right one.
It's a little early to have the full outpouring of emotion yet. These players are still getting warm. 8 a.m. start has not been a typical start for most of these semifinals.
Did it set you off? Was it a problem for you or not?
Not a problem for me at all. Maybe I had to do my vocal exercise a little earlier than normal, but worked out in my case. More referring to the players, Mark. They have to get up a little sooner, and it's actually just a different time of day. I personally love it. Oh, that's a smart play. He's got him right on top of the net. So, for everybody at home watching, if your opponents are right on top of the net, you got to go hard at them. You can't play anything off pace. If they're off the net, then you have the option of going harder off pace, and sometimes that's what's called for. There he sees him turning right on the net, just blasts him right at his body. Good job from John Hughes.
And there's nothing wrong with going high when someone's that close to the net.
Absolutely, and McNerney's about 6'4", so going high is actually probably a good idea. And as great a volleyer as he's not one of these guys who makes himself smaller. He stands right up, right? Me, I'd kind of duck down a little, make myself a little smaller target.
Yeah.
Nice close there for Hughes.
This to me is going to be the essential element of the match. Is how much offense are McNerney Nolan will be able to generate from the backcourt.
Yeah, Hughes Powers volleyed very well. And this overhead from Hughes has great effect. He cuts it, carves it. You see he's an extreme grip going over there. And they're going to work that way. Now, Powers can hit also an offensive overhead, but they tend to have it happen more with Hughes up I mean, back hitting the overheads, and Powers trying to cut off volleys.
Well, that was the big move they made 4 years ago, was really changed the complexion of the team.
Yeah, they went on to win the Nationals that year because they were vulnerable before. And in terms of strengths and weaknesses, it's just a perfect example of a team recognizing those strengths and weaknesses. Or even a greater strength, we'll just say, you know, because Powers is good at cutting off blitzes and drives. He cuts right up there. He can hit forehand volleys. Back is a little better at that. And so when he got up there, it started stopping the teams that were blitzing. Players like Araya and so on and so forth, and it made a huge difference.
Yeah, the match in Long Island where they beat Broderick and Palmer in the semis and then Araya Morneau in the finals was kind of like their coming out party.
Yep.
When they started doing that.
Vintage Powers.
The huge overhead was really bothering Jared Palmer, which was the first time we ever saw anything bother Jared Palmer.
King, huge Powers, they need the first set, 1 game to love.
All right, there's a kind of a good warm-up game, nice, solid. Both teams, I like the way they're trying to come out and play. Missed a few balls early, actually. You know, McNerney and Nola gave a couple of early gifts, then almost had the game, but teams are out there to mean business. It's good.
We're going to follow up men's semis with the women's final today at 10 o'clock, hopefully.
Yeah, great run for Sakura and Morgan. They were all to the finals.
Just remarkable because Charlotte Sakura came to the hut yesterday and her back was really bothering her. She played the deuce court instead of the ad today because of it. Didn't have high expectations.
Right. No, well, perhaps it was a little remedy rub. She lied there. Back, one of our local sponsors here. But, you know, great win for them. And, you know, it's got on the flip side for, you know, the team they beat in the semifinals, Kira Medeiros. They got a tremendous emotional win over our #2 seeds of Anika Nicolescu. And they were up in that match, so that's got to feel a little flat for them. But women's final coming up right after these.
See if it's going to be a big day for Serbia.
And by that you mean Novak Djokovic winning the Australian Open and Hannah Zabori attempting another victory here.
The Pavlovic tour with Djokovic and Ana Ivanovic when she was in the juniors.
How about that, you know, just going back to these women fouls there. Behind the back volleys in the latter stage of that match. Hysterically funny. It won both points.
Oh my God, we could do a highlight from nothing but her shots.
There you see Powers going to work. See, that's his better shot. You just saw Thomas Nolan stick that back in. It's a little more compact swing. He can make the forehand. It's just bigger, and he sort of lays it back a little bit. So he needs a little more time to set that part up. The forehand. It's more dangerous if you try to go into the side screen and he gets to cut it off. In fact, he's looking for it. The middle of the court here is pretty safe space for Hughes and Powers. No, that's a tough and a great look from Thomas Nolan there, and just a mistake on John Hughes. He thought he could bounce it over his head. Nolan at 6'2" knew that was coming and moved up and just stuffed that ball. All right. That's going to go out. See, there's the one thing sometimes McNerney gets a little cute with the lob. There he's trying to hit a perfect down the line lob, but he pushes it 2 boards wide. I totally understand why he's using the down the line lob, but you got to be a little margin for error. You got to use a little margin for error.
Powers just play. They don't have a lot of strategy. The ball comes, they hit it, they play. They're at that level that if you're going to compete with them, you know, maybe they're going to make some adjustments as the match goes on, but they're so good that they make you adjust to them.
Yep, no, I agree with you. It's not that they don't have strategy. It's just more along the lines of, like you said, they're just, you know, bring your best. This is what we got, and then they make some micro adjustments in the middle. And you know, they're definitely not afraid to pull the trigger in big moments. Blitz, no call there. Just got to call that one out. Nice blitz there from McNerney. He uses that to great effect.
One of the best blitzers in the game.
Nice.
You go.
that often. There's a quick move and a good move from Powers. He has the ability to one-time the ball, great effect. Just misses that one, doesn't quite get over the top of it. He ripped that ball. Nolan's smiling actually because it was going right at his head.
Yeah.
Hughes is still smiling. All right, great point here, Nolan. That's a great lob.
Comment on the abnormally warm weather. Oh, great cut winner from Hughes. It's supposed to be over 50 degrees today. Boston in January.
Yeah.
Global warming with some benefits.
We're not there yet because it's still the 8 a.m. time, but it's going to be incredibly warm. And the warm weather does make a difference. You know, certain teams play better in the warm weather. Ball comes off the screen more. You can see more compression of the ball, get more spin on it. The colder it gets, the less spin you can get on it. Conversely, though, you can still get yourself moving. Like
What a forehand volley from Powers. Just kind of flicked at it last second.
He's got amazing hands, and actually one of the best volleyers of switching from the forehand to the backhand. You know, we're talking about guys like Drew Broderick, who never hits a forehand volley, really. You know, and in some cases that works for him. You know, Powers has that ability to flip his hands, forehand or backhand, and he's better at it than most. You won't see that as much at all, really, from John Hughes. He'll pretty much stay with the backhand volley. So that's just great shot.
There's the Nolan backhand. It's such an effective shot.
Great cover. That is a look that you'll see from Ernie. John Hughes will do that a bunch too. Hits the quick lob and moves forward, looking for the down up over it. There he got it actually, but it went over his head, which doesn't happen that often. He's pretty good at that.
I got to say, I'm really unimpressed with that jump that he had there. I'm not even sure I would call it a jump. With both feet off the ground?
I mean, I don't really want to comment on his jumping skills there, but I would have to say neither foot was off the ground now.
The moan was rather loud, though.
It's a good move to make. He's hitting a shot and anticipating the reply, and the great part about it, too, is his partner sees it happening. Thomas Nolan, he goes to cover in case the miss happens, which he did. Powers, a couple of times now, he's taken a volley. It's not really a drop. It's just a ball designed to move the players forward. That's dangerous. Yep, great hits from Nolan.
Another non-call for Powers.
Watch that. Great hands. Tough shot. You hear Hughes yell it hit the seam, which means that, you know, it was a little off our screen. The ball moved a different direction than he was expecting, because normally you would see him hit that 10 out of 10 times. Hit! There's the call.
Yep. There's the forehand volley.
Yep. And there you see why they do that, because he has that ability to sort of hit the forehand or the backhand, and it makes a big difference. Oh, nice get.
So yesterday in the Deron Mitchell quarterfinal demolition, warmer weather really allows the guys to spin the ball more.
Durant is getting, I mean, he's obviously in both our minds, you know, the best of all time. He's getting better at hitting the cut drop from around the service line. You know, most guys don't hit it unless they're about a foot or two from the net. He'll hit it from like the service line area. He's getting very effective with it.
Quite the exhibition yesterday.
It's one of those shots where once you start to feel comfortable and you get it going, point-unders are such a hard thing to come by in platform tennis.
I still can't get over that Michael Montalbano picked Fraser Morgan. Kind of embarrassing for him. What do we like today? We could have put some money on the other team.
I got you. I got you.
Solid rollers from Nolan.
Yeah, they're doing a great job keeping, you know, Hughes moving there. They're really putting some pressure on him and giving him very little to work with. Good close. Reading this play very nice. But what's amazing about Hughes is he loves this stuff. And I think that is an amazing play. He's saying he got it.
I got it, yeah, I got it.
Thought it hit him in the chest.
I thought it hit your body. No, the top of my ground.
That's going to be a.
No, not at all.
Gotta listen to this.
Play a letter again? Well, I don't know. It's either a letter or your point. I don't know. I don't know the rule. I stopped playing. I thought it hit him in the chest. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't Hughes' call.
It's not right.
To me, it would be a loss of point. And a point for McNerney.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it hit John. I didn't see it hit Bob.
It happened so fast, I couldn't tell. To me, it 100% hit him in the chest.
Yeah, I had the same reaction.
You know.
Trust me, I would know if that one hit my body.
You're talking about two of the best sportsmen in the game.
Oh, sure. No, man, it's also very probable that, you know, or it's totally believable that he just had his paddle up in front of him, which a paddle player would do, and it hit his paddle, you know, and it went back. So, personally, I think that would point to McNerney, but.
And that's what Hughes and Powers have decided as well. Some volley from McNerney.
I mean, and there's the move that we talked about before. They got Hughes working here and there. He takes a short ball. He has zero intention of that ball going in. He goes up high and right into McNerney and thinks it's a great play. It's an option to you, and McNerney stays so tall. It's not a bad choice. But he didn't actually hit him. He did his battle. It's just happening so fast. I mean, we clearly have no idea. And McNerney would 100% call that on himself.
And that was not the case where a ball might have like ticked off the edge of his jacket or his hat or I mean that ball just absolutely pegged him if it hit him.
No, but it must have hit straight into his battle.
Yes. That's my point. There couldn't have been any uncertainty about it.
Right, yeah. Yeah, he did say in the exchange, I would know if that ball hit me.
Yeah. There are lots of times the ball goes past you and maybe it hits your jacket or it grazes you and you don't really tell. You can't really tell. You can only call what you feel.
He's out.
Oh. Great lob.
Yeah, great lob from McNerney.
And that set up that great transition drive for Nolan.
Come on,
go! There's the game.
Nolan McNerney.
The big points, and all spurred on by that amazing get by McNerney. You know, that's 2 games, and that took a while. Those are 2 long games. If that's any indication, we're going to be here for. We're not starting the ladies' final at 10 a.m.
Durant Mitchell may be in the middle of the second set the way they've been going.
The thing about Humphreys Koenig, they'll hang out there, and in my mind, they've become one of the best teams at digging the ball out. I mean, Hughes and Powers are right up there. But
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on over there. I do know they've changed the net 3 times though, big sides.
Yo!
got started a few minutes before this match did. Look at Hughes, so active. He's doing the same move McNerney just used. Quick lob, then moving up and in on the side, looking for the down up overhead. And great use of that softball. That's a great combination too. You notice you have to watch. See, there he goes hard at McNerney, then he quickly lobs it.
Did he make that volley?
That one was not made. That's a great shot.
You see how badly Hughes feels because the chest is in play. The head is one of the unwritten rules of the game is don't aim for the head.
No, and he wasn't necessarily aiming for that, but it was a high and heavy shot. It's a tough line. It's that line that you ride. You know, nobody's a better sportsman than John Hughes. You can feel worse than. And actually, in a weird way, this actually could work to Nolan and McNerney's advantage in the sense of like Hughes is a guy who actually might feel bad about this.
Yeah, you would
right?
never
And,
feel badly about that.
well, I feel bad about being here, you know, but you know, with you here. But it's a tough call. I personally think it's a great shot. The guy's closing in. You go a little high up in there, and they're big guys. They're not making themselves small. But you got to. It's that fine line that you walk when you're doing that play. It's the same thing. Like you know, Yvonne Lendl used to. You go to the net, and Yvonne Lendl used to
So love to
rip
hit
the
you.
ball right at you. You know, and it's just part.
Yeah, the court is so abrasive. You go down.
Yep.
Almost inevitably, you're going to be bleeding, and then getting it to stop bleeding when your heart's pounding is a real difficulty.
He's taking second, so he probably put his hand down as he fell in there. I'm guessing that he got a little, like, kind of scrapes and cuts on his hand, so he's taking a couple of minutes here, Thomas Nolan.
Yeah, the court is so abrasive. Anytime your skin touches it, bad things tend to happen to your skin.
Oh, he's got his knee. I can see him here. So his hand went down. You can see on the side there. He's taping up something on his knee. He's putting a bandage on there. Once you start bleeding like that, yep, needs to stop that. You know, I don't know if you remember back about maybe like 7, 8 years ago when they first came out with like the grit and the paddles, and the grit on there was so sharp.
They'll cut your hands.
People were bleeding right and left.
Yep.
And I remember it was still sort of playing at the time. And I remember just hitting it back in volley, and the paddle just grazed my knee. Just grazed it. And 2 minutes later, my sock was completely red, my entire bottom leg. But I didn't even feel it, but I was just bleeding everywhere. A minute ago, get rid of that. This case, the action is coming from the court and the abrasiveness on the court, like you said, Mark. He cut up his knee, maybe his hand a little bit. To me, it looked like it was his knee. He seems kind of the worse for wear.
A lot of smiles out there, which is good to see.
Bruce Knows about the nicest guy in the universe.
But John Hughes isn't.
Lives right down the street here. He's a Boston favorite. Grew up learning his paddle here. He's actually from Connecticut originally.
Played tennis in BC.
You go.
Hughes hits those over. He's always taking a peek.
He does, you know, it's a great point. He looks back and looks around. He wants to see where his opponents are. You know, usually you try to do that just with your periphery. He actually takes looks.
Yep.
You know, I never actually look over there, but it is good to know because then you can decide where the space is, where you want to hit it.
And you'll see him do that as well on the through ball when he's got to hit the ball off the back wire.
Usually it's all my time and energy is just focused on running back, trying to get it. He actually floats back there, looks this way, goes back, and he hits the shot.
You.
Oh, what a great lob.
Yeah. Get ready. Yep.
That's something that over the years
Got time.
that Powers has developed. He's always had it. He didn't use it much in the beginning of his career. His backhand has improved dramatically. He can really work it various ways. He goes hard and flat with it, takes some pace off it. His release is so quick. Let that one go to the screen, but he's
Love 30.
flat-footed there.
I thought they gave us a point. Yeah. Oh, you got lots of. Hang on.
McNerney can't make that one.
I mean, that's just vintage John Hughes right there. Putting the ball low, moving himself forward, and getting the down ups, and he loves that play.
Help.
You know, it's a great contrast in styles too between
Watch it.
Hughes and Powers. Like Hughes is always moving, right? Left, right. Powers kind of holds his position, waits, and then at the last second he makes some moves. But he mostly is kind of relatively. There's a quick move. There you see it. You see that move a few times, like where he's stationary and then he makes a move. Hughes constantly in motion.
And McNerney picked up on that, hit the ball at him, kind of jammed him with that overhead.
Yep, he got him, and Powers right now is 0 for 2 on these. But he will get those. You know, his timing is good. He'll get a couple, but right now he's 0 for 2.
And with Powers, he's always thinking reversion to the mean. Missing 2 is not going to stop him at all.
Right. He's thinking I'm going to make the next 2.
I got you,
Oh,
Jeff.
sneaky little drive. Do you think Powers knew he was there, or he just hit it in a certain place and it worked out? Oh,
I think he assumed that McNerney was coming to the middle.
yeah, interesting. You know, a lot of times when you're looking back there, I always think it's good if your partner starts to give you some direction.
Yep.
You know, like left, right, they're in, they're back. You know, that time it worked out. If he hit it, you know, a little more to the left, you got coming in, you know, blitzing McNerney, and that's trouble.
30 breaks in a row to start the match. The warmer the weather, the less valuable the net and the serve is.
Yeah, there I think, there's got to be a moment where Nolan's got to be smart about when he wants to hit that transition ball. There he got caught hitting a drive, but his feet underneath him, they volley right back behind him, and he's not set. It's great action early going here. Sun's starting to get up in the sky. It's kind of like a hazy sun out here, and like you said, it's very warm.
You're a nice guy, so.
It's like a sleeping pill after.
Just take one.
Sure. Would you like another? We
Good.
set the precedent.
Okay, John Hughes to serve to Grant McNerney.
Serve to add to the deuce court. Very hard to return. Getting off the screen. Nice little blitz move again, and then you hear Powers go and hit, right? Which is telling him that the guy's moving forward a little, and he can't hit the soft upward push overhead. Great lob. There's the push back that you were talking about. Looks up to see if they're in or out. That's just right. Did he get that? Wow. Oh! These guys.
What scrambling.
What hands too. Amazing. How did he get that ball?
Hughes or Powers?
Go.
Both.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Powers, his hands on that. He actually had a good drive off of it.
You go.
And that's the danger with John Hughes. When you start injecting energy into the ball, he loves that.
Yep, that was a great point, and just because they were able to dig that one out, it was an amazing get from Powers. Hughes.
You.
That ball was flying.
Yeah. Doesn't mention forehand volleys, but I was surprised to see him get caught in a forehand volley on that last one that they lost. He's pretty good about staying in position and committing to the backhand volley. So those moves that Hughes makes, he's so quick. He'll hit the drive and just move to a spot. Anticipating returning to a certain spot. Now you don't always get it. So Hughes is using energy. That was out. Just missed it. Yeah, Hughes agrees, calls it out as well.
15 all. Banking on you hitting it. I was banking on you hitting it.
It's out.
Come on, man. How many faults? 15-30.
There's never any mystery about what John Hughes is feeling.
No, he's pretty good. He wears it on his sleeve.
Mark Powers, you have no idea what's going on.
You can tell actually by sometimes the way he holds his hat. There are occasions where he pulls it down a little more.
30 all.
That's a
Lifts
tantrum.
it up a little. Yeah,
When he pulls it
something
down,
like
that's a
that.
tantrum.
And the stern face will still be there, but yeah.
We talked about it a little bit, Brad, but it's always interesting to me that the guys who spin the ball the most deal with the spin the best. And McNerney's that way. He rarely ever gets beaten by the spin.
Yeah, at this level too, you really, if you want to be in the semifinals, you cannot get beaten often. I mean, of course you're going to get beaten sometimes. They have to spin. But you're right. Oh, that's a great shot. Good hands there from Hughes.
You're going to know when gets beaten by the spin a little bit.
40-30.
It was a good change of pace there from Powers. He actually hit that one at about half pace, and he was thinking it was going to be a regular side back, but once it, once it just hit that side screen, it just died down there. He just put the right kind of pace on it.
Mini summit there for Hughes Powers, which is unusual.
Oh, a big move there to the side. He was so stretched out.
Go if you can. Yep.
That's out. That's a mistake, John.
Yeah, just can't afford to make that mistake.
Yeah,
3 games to 1.
Because there's the way you want to think about taking the drive. I understand why he hit it. He's just giving him a shot, trying to draw him back in. It's probing drive. You need those in the middle of the game. The way you want to think about it is what's the advantage and what can I lose on it. And that one's just too low, too far behind. It's the percentage of missing and the percentage of gain isn't worth it.
Risk and reward. That's what it's all about. Every decision you're making on the court.
That backhand return that you saw from Powers, sometimes he'll take that and just blast it flat, hard. It's a good job mixing the paces. He has a bunch of that explosive power. That's just a really good overhead. He gets caught up, and just a perfect waterfall there from McNerney. Oh! Nolan was right there. Tickles the top of the net, but doesn't go over.
Help! I got you.
I mean, solid play from both teams right
Yeah.
now. It's really tough. The area that worries me, like in this matchup, is Powers and Hughes, I think, can come back easier than Nolan. They guys got to get close. Powers and Hughes haven't had a moment yet where they've just 2 or 3 drives, though. Or anything like that. They're pretty solid. And the action is exactly the kind of action that they want. Fast speed.
A couple of loose errors from Nolan.
Just a couple. Like one here, one there. Some great shots, but that's really sort of kind of the difference at this point.
And that's all it takes.
Yeah, sure. I'm surprised he let Powers take that for him. It's a good play. These are the shots and the moves that top teams make. Yeah, you're going to see that another 6 or 7 times probably in this match, where John Hughes runs up the side wire, and if it gets hit hard into the side wire in front of him, he'll just let it go, and he knows that his partner's got the ball that's rebounding to the middle of the court. Oh boy. To me, that's McNerney's ball moving to his right, the cut overhead. Good leave.
Nolan's doing a lot of movement in that position, getting deep in the court and getting in McNerney's way.
Yeah, that one there for sure, and that's just, I think, a function of not playing together as much. He's got to move off to his right and let that attacking overhead come from McNerney. Because that's kind of all that McNerney, I think, could possibly finish.
Hey, you got it.
That's good overheads.
Help!
That's a great overhead that McNerney used. I think that one where he's pushing it deep, right into that backhand corner. That's the Hughes forehand. Just a great shot.
Where's McNerney moving to the middle on that ball?
Yeah, it seemed to be confusion. Like, he's either got to stay way up or go. I think personally he should come back, and they should actually lob that. Hughes and Powers are too fast for that transition drive there.
And that's the game they don't want to get involved in.
Correct.
Yep.
See a long Powers holds drive grip on the backhand. Where's linting and ultimately lobbing that ball.
Good overheads here. They're just hard time of forcing any kind of errors out of Hughes. Powers. There you see Hughes making a move. That's a winner.
Hughes does not follow it into the corner.
Yep. You know, he got caught making that other move up the wire, and then he didn't get back in time. And then when that hit the crease, he just wasn't there for it. It's a great shot. Wow. Oh.
Short, short.
The left court serve. That's 2 bounces.
Wow, Graham. Deuce.
And that's exactly what you're referring to, Bradford, as they got into that exchange, that fast exchange. The ball drives through, McNerney takes a crack at it, and all of a sudden Powers punishes them.
Puts it away. And you heard McNerney yell, hit a lob, Graham, after the point was over, because he knows he made a mistake hitting that drive. It wasn't even an offensive drive. Oh, there's a gift there. There's too many of those.
Yeah. God. Sorry, dude.
Great foul.
I always thought the Hughes to do more blitzing off the Powers return. It's such a consistent and low, heavy ball.
You know, it's a good point. I wonder if they've talked about that or not. They don't do a ton of it.
Threatening it, but not really seriously committing to it.
It was a good hold there for McNerney Nolan. Stood a lot of firepower. Maybe made a couple of choices that they're going to have to revisit as it goes on in the transition game, especially. Unless they got a layup type of drive, where you can see the court in front of you. I'm not sure they should hit that turnaround drive.
Yeah, I agree.
Powers are so quickly in.
For over 20 years, Paddle Pro has been recognized as an industry leader in platform tennis. The knowledge, expert advice, vast inventory, and ultimate customer service will help any player find the perfect equipment to take your game to the next level. Paddle Pro is the only website to carry all platform tennis brands. For more information, go to www.paddlepro.com.
That's some great early action here. This is a great set.
Yeah, it's fun. It's been fast, but good shot selection for the most part.
Teams that are going for their shots, and McNerney and Nolan aren't really backing down from that too. They're sort of just bringing their game at each other. Nobody's really. Do you sense a specific tactic in mind? There are certainly plays and designs they're using, like block lob up the line, move up and in, try to get the down up overhead, and various plays and combinations of shots that they're doing masterfully, actually. You can piece together the overheads, how they're moving the guys from the inside to the out. But it's more like, I'm bringing my game, you bring your game, let's see what we got here.
Yep, I agree completely. And we talked about that with Hughes and Allen early.
Yeah, they always do that. That's out. He's bringing some firepower. He's hitting it.
15.
Big blitz there from Nolan.
Yeah, it's a great blitz, and he went hard on that drive.
No! Baby!
That was going to go back. Didn't execute.
McNerney cannot believe he missed that ball.
Yeah, he loves the down up high ball there. He would generally make that, but wait another minute to get one. Good call, and the threat of the blitz also, when he says hit, it actually can work for a while. There's the same shot, makes that one. That one's off the screen, a little more time to set up.
Yeah, as you said, the threat of the blitz, you get that hard overhead. You can be aggressive on that ball, it comes too far up the wires.
Great catch.
Like that.
Perfect transition back. A little miscommunication on the overhead. Just has to come over. I agree with Hughes in that case. There was Powers overhead. That's a great lob.
But Powers' level is really high right now. He missed 2 balls in 5 games. 2 balls he crept up the side wire, and that was it.
Yeah, he's missed very few.
While bringing a lot of offense. Job of moving him around.
Oh, that's a great lob from Nolan. It's a smart point here for McNerney Nolan. Just working him, starting to lob well. These guys move up and back. Eventually, they're going to get a shot clock going. I mean, they're hitting their shots, but I'm surprised to see him get burned on that one. Great long overhead there from Hughes.
Yeah, it's not a ball you would have thought he would have been beaten by.
I think it totally surprised him because they were hitting certain shots and they haven't gone over to his forehand side. He just looked flat-footed on that one.
That's my ball.
looking to spin in here.
You got that.
Short volley again. Powers. Great use of it because you can't see it coming. It's not that it's the best drop shot in the world. It's that you're on your heels expecting something else, and he's just drawing you forward. All he's getting is a move of position that he can open the court up some more. It works very well. First missed, yeah.
40-30.
That's his typical overhead that'll hit. That's out. Okay, here's the little moment. McNerney, a couple errors there.
Great lob from McNerney.
That was a great lob. 3 overhead errors from Hughes and Powers, and it feels like at this moment, remember we were talking about they're bringing their game, they're bringing it. Feels like at this moment, McNerney, Nolan are like, all right, let's slow it back a little bit here. Let's be a little more consistent. Let's lob a little more. Let's not just go toe to toe.
I think Hughes has got to step over and hit a few more of those lobs off the McNerney paddle.
You.
Nice play there from McNerney. Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah, that's beautifully done.
That came off the paddle that had that sound.
You could actually hear like a shh, right? And then it's moving right into the corner. It's a tough ball off the deck, and then when that comes in there, it's just dying right into the corner. Perfectly played, perfectly executed.
You.
Like you said, they'll keep hitting, right? You know, they missed 3 overheads in a row, and now it's still going right back to the head spin overheads. Definitely seeing a commitment now from Mary Nolan. Slow it up a little bit. That's out. Too deep for that one.
Advantage, Nolan.
They're getting the airs. They're drawing the airs out.
I know, it's just like they're there. I'm just not going at them.
Powers just keeps firing that serve in. Deep and heavy.
You.
Yeah, it's very reliable too. Solid serve. You know, there was a moment when you think about going a little bit of an underhand serve. And,
You.
just get out the
Gotta go, gotta go.
underhand serve. Oh, what a shot! That's gonna. Hey, he's
Let's go!
Great shot from Nolan. What a get.
And I was about to call it a winner, and then all of a sudden Powers is back there. But what a heck of a ball there.
Amazing you can put a paddle on that ball.
Powers, it's an amazing drop, and then just didn't expect him to have the ability to get that up over his head. Just an incredible shot.
We're back to even.
And that's the first sort of like flirt that we've seen from Hughes Powers there. You know, and I think it all happened because, you know, Nolan and McNerney slowed it down, right? They didn't go toe-to-toe as much. Hughes Powers want the action. They got less of the action, so they tried to force the action a little bit, and they made errors. You know, one of those lobs was an awesome lob from McNerney, but 3 of those overheads are just mistakes.
Yeah.
Just mistakes.
45, Hughes missed 2 regular overheads. He wasn't expecting to miss.
Oh,
There's a bad decision.
yeah, moving back and away. and he's hitting a backhand just as he can. Even if he makes it, what the gain isn't there. You want to hit that with a forward move so you can follow it up. Backhand play. That's great for me.
I got it. Okay.
Swallows that net.
Okay.
So, to me, like Thomas Nolan, like you said, looking for kind of a regular partner. I'm knocking on the door for a while now. These are the matches you just got to keep playing, right? More and more of these. Got the skill set.
Even though while they're playing, he may have found his partner.
Short, get ready.
That's so good.
Love 30.
Not the seam.
Yeah, I love it. They're giving us extra commentary. It's great, you know, because we can't see that, you know, when it goes in there, and it's a great overhead, but he rolls it, and when the ball hits the seam, anything can happen. It's a great shot that we kept it low in there. It's a fault. Three great points right back for Hughes and Powers.
It all started with that backhand error.
See, that's the stuff. He just goes hard and early at
They lead the first set, 4 games to
No
3.
time to react at all.
so fast, you know, and it's one of those. He's in terms of, you know, you have that explosive nature and a few of the forehands that are out there. Clearly Durant, you know, Powers definitely has one of them as well. It just happens in a millisecond. I think we're going to see more of the same that we saw in the last game, where they're going to commit to the slower strategy.
Effective for him.
Well, it's the only break they had, and they got the break because of a few errors, right? So they're not. It's harder for them to win. Like, how many right now drives from McNerney and Nolan have they, when they've driven and you got Hughes and Powers missing the ball? How many
Very
times have
few,
happened?
couple.
Right, maybe one or two,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
where are they going to get the points when Hughes Powers are at the net? You know, they're going to have to lull them into a few mistake errors or mistake shots where they're hitting the wrong overhead, you know, and that'll either mean they're making an error with it, trying to force something, or they might get the attack out of it. So very few off the Thomas Nolan or the Graham McNerney power where Hughes and Powers miss. And that's sort of like the area. All these players are great. Every one of them out here can make 100 balls in a row, right? It's a question of how you can sometimes win your points or what your mental commitment is to not losing. There's a great drive from Nolan, and he's in worse shape than he was, right?
Yeah.
You know, it was not a bad drive. It was a great drive, but good positioning. Sticks the ball short, then all of a sudden he gets tagged.
Switching balls after 7 games here in the Grand Prix.
Good transition back, well played.
15 off.
Really done.
5 off.
Boy, rarely we see McNerney be beaten by that, but goes testimonies to the quality of the serve.
Yeah, that was a great serve. It might have actually kicked right into the seam again. And so that's a great return from Nolan.
30 off.
That lefty serve is so much more effective on the deuce court than the edge court.
Absolutely. You can kick it into the wire, and it's such a hard move to get up the wire far enough because there's so much action on it that you can see McNerney's just happy to lob it back, and just awesome balls there.
40, 30.
He's going to have to move himself up the wire a little there. Just a great overhead.
Kind of a weird game, huh?
Yeah, winner kind of
Loser,
error,
winner,
right?
loser.
Right. Yeah, just, you know, fantastic shots, 2 faults, right?
Vintage Nolan.
The pain of John Hughes. First the Bruins lose, now this.
It's right there on his face.
Watch.
Oh, such great hand-to-hand. Oh, he had the spot.
Yeah.
He knew that Powers was trying to cut off the ball to the middle, and he had him down the line. It wouldn't have necessarily won the point. I
No.
expect that Hughes would track it down, but
I like the look.
that was a great look.
Watch.
Good volley. Hughes.
I mean, they're volleying really well. Those are all really decent strikes. You know, just great volleying. Closing so fast, hands are out.
Watch.
And that's the fine line between getting too aggressive and speeding up play.
Yeah. And he tried to hit a touch volley there, a dink volley from his shoelaces. The wiser play would have been lob volley,
Lob volley
and
and
get
retreat.
out of here. Right, you know.
Another point for 5-3.
Oh my goodness, 3 faults. And this is where he's battling himself a little right now. You can see it.
Oh. The Hughes overhead I love so much when it comes to the middle of the court and takes it back over to the ad side.
Yeah, that's a humongous overhead that he hits right in there.
Hey,
It's
I don't know.
long and through. It's almost impossible to block. And if you let it go, it's just as bad. You know?
It's trouble any way you cut it.
Right.
Well, a couple of points that way. Nolan.
Good looking strikes, great volleying, using Powers. Like the change of pace there for Nolan.
Oh, great exchange.
And you saw Nolan go for the hard one at the body there.
But Powers hits the little flick forehand volley. It's unbelievable. It's like the ball's behind him.
That one was a little bit, it was. He does a great job usually.
Here it comes.
Very effective. That's just a great point. But strangely though, there were like 6 or 7 really good shots from McNerney
I stopped playing. I
and
know.
Nolan, and yet they come out on the other end. It's like it doesn't necessarily benefit you to just go at him like that. You know, you kind of have to soften them up and then take the spot. But the more you come straight ahead, you know, the worse it's actually been for him. Strange about it. That's too good. And that was this miscommunication from Hughes and Powers there. I don't think Powers knew he was switching there. And like you said, it's kind of a strange game. It continues these amazing points, and then misses here and there. That's a great spot. There's a big ball, forcing a miss off the Powers paddle. That was a great shot.
And there Hughes found the back wire first and paid for it.
Go.
Dance. Oh! And how about that? What a break of serve from McNerney Nolan.
More missed overhits in a game than you expect to see in a set from Hughes Powers.
I mean, yeah, but it was just, like you said, it was a strange game. There were 3 faults. There were these amazing winners, cup winners, incredible points that went toe-to-toe. But ultimately, you know, and actually we did get a couple of great shots from McNerney and Nolan that actually found, and they forced a couple of errors, but interspersed 3 faults. You know, it's hard to hold when you fault 3 times, right?
But to your point, slow-paced points, that one being an exception, but the slow-paced points have been far more beneficial to McNerney Nolan.
In general, yes. I mean, there was a great transition drive because he's inside the blue, hitting the ball down with his body behind it.
Wasn't far from the service line.
No, that's the point. There's a huge difference between the transition line when he's moving back behind the baseline and that one there where he's hitting the ball downward. It's a good return there from Powers.
Great movement from Nolan.
Another great get. Oh,
Tags him.
catches him a little flat-footed. Great shot. He wasn't really trying to tag him. He just went
No.
long and deep at him.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he got caught in between steps. He was just stuck.
Oh, what a shot.
He tried. I don't think he made it.
Yep, just missed it
Missed
wide.
it wide. I mean, it was available. It was the risk-reward shot. You know, if he makes it, it's a winner. He could have easily just lobbed it up and played back.
15-40.
Hard.
That's just an awesome blitz.
And
That's
there's
so
that
good.
hard overhead.
But he's got to hit a high lob there off the screen. Now, maybe that was too low for him to do it. The one thing I will say about Nolan, sometimes he gets that in there. He's still holding an Eastern forehand grip. He's got to change his grip, you know, so he can open the face underneath the ball better on that lob off the low screen. So 2 times Hughes and Powers get broken in these back and forth games, and 2 times they break right back.
Mark Powers will serve for the first set. I think on the next court it's 4-1 or 4-2 in the second set to give you an idea of the different pace of play on the 2 different courts. We're deep in the second. We haven't finished the first.
Base drive there. Couple of rollers.
Nolan does such a good job of changing pace. It's the loopy ball, it's the flat ball, it's a 3/4 ball.
We're finding some good spots. Using Powers just following so well. That's a great lob.
Another great lob for Nolan. He's found Hughes' alley a couple times.
I mean, they're really working this point beautifully. It's a great example of what's sort of like, you know, shot and answer. The answers from Hughes and Powers, like you say, are they're just giving them the answer. There's nothing wrong with the play of, you know, Nolan and McNerney there. Just great answers from Hughes and Powers. But like I said, the more the point, like those were all really good lobs. The more the point gets good, the better for Hughes and Powers, right? You know, the more you just kind of lob it up to the middle 7, 10 times. Just long. Stuffed it. Just a little long both those drives.
2 points from the set.
Help. 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 Help.
Ooh.
Swing, miss. Go back and get it the second time.
Off his heels drive. Yeah.
Not happy with that decision. Rightfully so.
And Hughes has made some amazing shots. If you take away just like but also kind of like just a few errors, right? Here and there. He's incredible athleticism, ridiculous overheads. Just a few errors here and there in the spots in between. But just
And that's why we're still in the first set.
Yeah, that's a perfect overhead. He's saying sorry, but it hit the seam. It's just a great shot. He spun it off, it cuts in there, and it hit the side seam on the side screen, and it just dropped. And it's a beautiful shot. I mean, another incredible one.
You don't see too many balls hit the seam on the second wire.
Yeah. Good lead there from McNerney. Here we go, 2 set points.
Yeah, you.
Ball called in.
Yeah, game in first
All
set.
right, so that is game and first set. So an overrule. I think Hughes and Powers actually feel bad about that. You know, so overrule there, and first set goes to Hughes and Powers.
Hughes Powers 6-4.
So 6-4, and we will be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by My Paddle.
High performance never tasted this good. Chocolate, berries, cinnamon, agave. Fuel your body with the shot and the bar. Now available in a deliciously energizing power pack. See how much farther you can go with Remedy Plus.
What is a cutter?
Ball with a lot of spin.
A cutter is a fun shot.
A cutter is an offensive overhead commonly used close to the net.
A spin shot where you get underneath the ball.
Side of the ball, bottom of the ball, the other side of the ball.
Carving around it in different ways.
You just have to have a loose wrist.
And you basically try to make the ball spin backwards or sideways.
It either spins short or deep and causes confusion for the baseline team.
All right, welcome back to the APTA Tour presented by Remedy Plus. We are currently in men's semifinal action where Hughes and Powers, our number 3 seed, just took the first set 6-4 against McNerney and Nolan, and it was just on an overrule. I mean, we both saw it kind of in on the line.
Yeah,
we thought it was in, and you were asking me off air if either Hughes or Powers asked for the overrule, and we saw here, and we couldn't see it, but we were told that you know, Mark Powers did look up at the chair, and then the chair overruled it. So tough way to lose a set there for McNerney and Nolan. We had a couple of interesting you know, developments in that first set. So we had that overrule at the end. In the beginning, we had that play where Hughes goes up hard and high, and McNerney, and he just thinks he hits him in the chest, but somehow McNerney has his paddle in front of him. Point goes on, but Hughes stops because he thinks the point's over, and that point went to McNerney and Nolan, as it should have.
So little decided that set. Really well played set all the way around. But you see that Hughes and Powers just have a bigger margin.
Oh, there's a great sit. Sticks it right back at him now. These guys are so nice. It was a great play there. And, you know, it was a better, it's a different margin. Every time they get broken, they broke right back. And if you take away a few of the kind of just the errors, like there's like 4 or 5 decisions on both sides are just errors. But other than that, it was just a great match.
But Hughes and Powers can afford to make 4 or 5 errors. McNerney, Nolan, not quite as much.
Right, because they're likely to get more winners and more of the other shots. It was an incredibly entertaining set.
We talked about it a little bit yesterday. To me, it's always about your floor. Where are you playing when you're not playing well? Because everybody's good when they're playing well. Oh, what a volley, what an exchange.
That was a mistake there
Yeah,
from
Powers
Powers.
made a mistake there.
And there it got great play.
Some of McNerney's stellar net skills on display there.
That was a great volley back, and then they didn't know who was getting that other ball. I don't think either one of them was getting it either way, but they ran on top of each other, using Powers, so 30-15. Backhand. Out.
Great exchange from McNerney. Wins that one.
Yeah, all good transition balls. It's a good look.
Looks like they split on. No, I'm not sure.
Well, they're all coming off. We see they might have split on the other court.
Yeah, I think that's likely.
You know, it seems like it's sort of like follows the entire development. If they did split sets, you know, Humphreys and Ossis Koenig, you know, they did, confirmed by our producer Jake. You know, the first match they got killed. They're in match number 3 here, right? In the second match, they had a really good set where they went to 7-6. So it's sort of just along the progression lines of Humphreys and Ossis Koenig to now get the set and be for the match. Perfect little script.
Ooh, that is his ball right there.
40-30.
Buried it in the bottom of the net, though.
Oh my God. It was like, you hit it right there. Just like warm up. That's the spot, Mark. That's the spot. Oh.
Well, the 4 guys can believe it.
Yeah, because it was not a particularly great overhead. He bounces short.
Not a
up
particularly great overhead?
It was right up into his wheelhouse, and he just buries it in the net. You don't see that often. If we did, they wouldn't be here in the semifinals.
Yeah.
You.
That's a good spinner. That's played by Powers, but just incredible movement from Hughes.
McNerney with another great drive off the wires.
Nolan's getting ready to switch. Now they're making the switch.
Looked like Nolan was switching, but McNerney wasn't.
He is just, that overhead of Hughes
Vicious.
is just vicious. It really is. You know, he'll make an error here or there, but he cuts and finishes so many balls. And then the warmer the weather gets, the more he does it. Last year in the finals, you know, of nationals, he was devastating with that. That's a good spot on the drive, just not in the net tough. That he's trying to find the forehand volley of McNerney. And players practice that, spotting their drives in certain places. There's that long one across the court, just a lot of pressure coming from Hughes and Powers. He's going to do it again. Missed it.
Swing and a miss. Great hold from McNerney Nolan.
1 game to love. Powers win the first set, 6-4. Yeah.
Good start there. Action's been great, Mark.
Oh, it's been a fun match.
You know, back and forth.
Lucky. The only thing to do is stand there and pray it doesn't hit your corner.
See McNerney and Hughes talking. Good buddies. Both great sportsmen. Tense competitors, but having fun out there.
Yeah, it's like in between.
Looking like your prediction that a 10 o'clock start for the women's final was unlikely is going to come to fruition, Bradford.
Glad to be right about something today, Mark. But, you know, they're just, these points are too long and they're too entertaining, actually. Let's keep it going. Thomas Nolan just making a quick jaunt into the booth here on the changeover, looking for some banana.
Remedy Plus bar.
You know, he was going banana this go around, but those Remedy Plus bars are excellent. Chocolate, black cherry, they fuel you right.
Okay, John Hughes to serve. Love 1 second set.
Right at the crease. I mean, McNerney handles spin great, but there's so much action on this ball from Hughes. It is just hard to know exactly where it's going to go. Look at that pressure, and then they get a cut finisher and they miss it, but it's like they're just hanging by the skin of their teeth.
Yep.
Way to dig one more out. That's all you can do sometimes.
Thumbs up from Hughes at the get.
Yeah, at the gets, he's like, because he might have won the point 2 or 3 times there with those great spin overheads.
What a great dig from Nolan.
Oh.
What a flirt there from Powers. So he pushed his hat up like you were saying earlier,
There
Bradford.
he goes. It's always the hat work. That's how he shows his emotion. Down, up a little.
I think he practices that.
No, I don't think so. Like in Taxi Driver, talking to me,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
in the mirror,
yeah.
like he's got his hat on.
You think he's just naturally good at it like everything else.
Right.
This is a big game for McNerney Nolan. Gotten a couple of gifts, they got to take advantage.
Yeah, it's sort of been the way that the match has sort of gone. They've been playing a little uphill the entire way, right?
Yep.
You know, always a little down and trying to work their way back up. And when they're making their moves up, they're getting a point or two from Hughes and Powers, right? And they force some errors, but they're really getting a point or two from Hughes and Powers. That sort of generates it. It's a question of whether they can build on it without those things, right?
Yep. Being behind all the time just kind of wears on you. I know a lot about that.
See, and we haven't seen, actually, there was just 2 simple push overheads, and you could do that all day, sort of McNerney. It doesn't kill you, but then he'll start pushing you around with the overheads. Hughes and Powers, they don't settle for that. They hit a push over when they need to, but as soon as they get an opportunity, they are going right into the heavy cut overheads and putting pressure on.
It was a battle they had with their old coach, Jim Kaufman, who wanted more push overheads.
Yeah, but, you know, I mean,
And they just didn't want to do it.
They got to bring what they want to bring, you know, and I kind of think there's a time and a place for all of it. Then there is a good time for the cutter guy. He's going to get winners and he's going to get some mistakes.
Yep.
That's just how you live and die by it. But the fast action works for him. Now, you know, Jim was a master. I had the pleasure to play with Jim for a couple of years of controlling the pace of the ball. When you would play with Jim, you knew exactly when the opponent was going to drive because you would push it to a certain space, and it was almost perfect every time. The only problem with that style was every match was a long, drawn-out affair, right? You know, so you have to be just mentally doing it all the time. They don't necessarily want to do that. If they can take an opportunity to win a point, they're going to do it. And, you know, the real truth of the players at the top of the game right now is the players who are sitting at the top. There are a lot of players who can make 100 balls, Mark. The players who sit at the top are the players who actually force the most errors in general, you know, from their opponents.
Advantage, Hughes.
Powers is not happy with himself for flagging that ball. Doing the point anyway.
Game point for Hughes, Powers. That's going to get tattooed. Oh, what hands.
Kind of a crazy ball to switch on, but Hughes' hands had the answer. And then he puts away the overhead.
He's got 6 or 7 or 8 of those. You know, the flip side, you'd have to count on the how many misses,
misses,
right? Right, you know, but
I would say he's slightly in the positive today.
I think he's on the positive for sure. And because it goes to even more to that, it's the overall pressure, right? You know, but yes, there have been errors, and the errors have cost him probably a game, but he won him a couple, right? It's a question of where you stand on the whole thing.
Great action. Really could have held that ball a long time. Some more good-natured banter amongst the players.
Yeah, you said it well, Mark. He held it, and you saw a little seam in there.
Spotting that forehand, finding the forehand volley.
Be so careful going into Hughes' backhand. Nice move. Lets it go. Use it because Hughes will move quickly up that wire so fast. shot at his feet there. Possibly an easy hold here for McNerney Nolan. See? Oh, that'll do it. Oh, even Hughes can't jack that down. What a shot in transition.
Nolan hit a couple of really good balls in transition there.
Great hold. That's what they need.
So we started the first set off with 3 consecutive breaks, and we start the second set off with 3 consecutive holds.
I think they're talking about the Bruins game there. I think they're talking about some positioning moves at the net. They got caught a couple of times there. Right hip, left hip, where they want to be.
There's a lot of talking with Hughes and Powers.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see, actually. And they're definitely working out a couple little kinks there. I mean, they volleyed on hole pretty well.
Yeah, I'd say better than pretty well. But
That's such a good play from McNerney. That time, he gets the turnaround drive, and McNerney's right there. We saw it earlier in the game where he was able to sneak it behind him. When you can't see your opponent and you make that turnaround drive, sometimes you're just taking a chance with it.
Several guys are so good at closing the net. Durant obviously won. McNerney's excellent at it.
Yep.
Called out. I think Hughes called that out even, right?
Yep.
Nolan may be a little gun shy after calling the set point ball out and having it overruled.
So what would be the rule, Brad, if Hughes calls it out and then the chair umpire reverses the call?
Overrules.
Overrules the overrule.
That would be an interesting thing. Isn't it? It's never been seen. I think you'd have to play a let.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I don't even know how that works. But then again, who would ever question the overcall? So I think it would just stand. You know what I mean? What's the other team going to go? No, I think his ball was good. Let's play a let. You know?
Well, if it was John Hughes, that could possibly happen.
Maybe, yeah. He's being too nice. I don't want his charity.
Right, like Steve DeRose, he called more out balls in than anybody I've ever seen.
You go. Yes. Help me.
I think you've got to take that one hard at him or
Help.
set up the line. Great help call there from Ernie.
You.
Oh, just a beautiful lob. There's the deep back that we moved to before. And yeah, he tried to do the sneak up the wire there, clearly at the wrong time. So a couple of break points here. Ernie Nolan.
Shot time. Thank you.
Little opportunity here to play from ahead. See, this is the point that I think is, just a great point for Nolan and McNerney. Just soften up. Now, the Hughes and Powers can do this. They can sit out here and they can push it back. They kind of have the ability to do whatever, And then now there's just kind of, you see them, they're not attacking with cuts one after another. It's probably 15-40, and it's important to just keep it going. See if maybe Nolan and McNerney can win with a drive of their own. Can only take the easy one. Great hands. That's out. That's just such good hands. It's a good look there from McNerney.
30-40.
Awesome volleying.
Yeah, the opportunity was there. But then again, those are the types of points that win and lose matches.
Powers, I don't think he's missed a serve this entire match. He's just rock solid.
Yep.
Serving hard.
Yeah. Challenging serve into that ad side.
Big point right here. It's early in the set. It's still has a lot of significance.
Oh, and there it is, the break. That's the right type of style and points. And
A little confusion again with Hughes Powers.
I think he just missed it. To me, it just like he missed it. You know, but good point there for McNerney Nolan. Now we've seen both times, or every single time so far in this match, the Hughes and Powers have been broken right back. Let's see if McNerney can get the hold and stake themselves to a 4-1 lead here.
Okay, new ball. Players are warming it up.
Good. Just a little close, just that way. You sit here. Okay? I go here.
They need a hold here. A little separation.
Yeah, a little separation. Play from ahead. That's out.
The last time they broke, they came back and got broken at love. A couple
Yeah.
of faults, a couple of bad misses.
Well, like we said, you know, there's more room, you know, for Hughes and Powers and their ability to break. Just the returns, they're getting more out of the return and a little more out of a few shots. So there's a miss, surprising miss on the forehand side. He's extremely reliable with that ball. That'll benefit McNerney and Nolan, 15 all. Ooh.
30-15.
Wow, 3 straight return misses from Hughes Powers. 2 from Powers. That's like a week's worth of misses.
Yep. But this is where they got to capitalize. And like you said, now they get a chance to finally play from ahead. See what that kind of pressure does. As you said, scoreboard pressure. Get behind, go through the legs there. Great touch.
Water called out.
40-30.
Couldn't make it. The action was too fast. I didn't actually see it. Did you have a beat on that one?
No, I missed it as well.
Doesn't look like there was any even question on it from the other team, so.
Here's a testimony to Powers' confidence.
Right.
Just those 2 returns, just came back firing with the next one. Can't do that with McNerney on top of the net. They get away with it.
Got the legs. Oh, just McNerney going to work there. He's like standing still, blocking it, hitting it over, pushing it. This is great.
Another big point.
This is fun. This is kind of vintage McNerney doing some work. He's holding the overheads, pushing around, going for offense, and he closes in, makes the volley. This is the strength. McNerney game.
A lot of short lobs though from Hughes Powers. There's a better one.
Gotta get a few up. Smart choice there. Get it up a little. Buy some time. Oh, how about that? All that work from McNerney, and he catches the inside out volley, and he goes to the forehand there. Surprising to see.
Kind of feel the match teetering right here.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with you. It's a big game for them to get a little separation, and every single time McNerney and Nolan got in the break, they got broken right back. They got to just break in a consolidation of that.
Help. Hard.
Is there a place you would go if you're Nolan McNerney right now?
You go.
Hughes forehand.
I don't know. He's hitting it pretty well too. It's a little tricky. I would actually just do the right kind of thing where they start getting the ball deep a bunch, and then see, like, that's just deep in the court. That's a tough spot as a deuce play, and he's trying to hit an inside-out ball to the, you know, it's a tough shot from there. Moving to his left.
Again, it's about the pace of play and getting that ball.
That's out. And holy cow, this keeper falls, and they got to just step up. They're up 40-15. Good chance for the hold.
Powers won the first set, 6-4.
Yeah, you felt like that was a real opportunity, and they just kind of missed it. 40-15 missed the transition ball, and then got caught on the forehand volley at 40-30. We talk often about the margins. The margins for these guys is really small.
And what's strange about that point, too, is McNerney was doing a great job. He was pushing them around, moving them, but it's still paddled. They're getting it back. They're hanging in there, right? And then all of a sudden, and that's sort of what Powers and Hughes can do, though. Like, that drive that Powers hit, it was a weird drive. Like, he hit kind of deep over, and Powers just kind of inside out, quick drive, and McNerney just wasn't ready. You know, and that's sort of what Hughes and Powers can do. It's a surprising little shot, and it caught him on the forehand volley. He just wasn't ready for it.
3-second set. No Hughes to serve.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
McNerney reminds him it's a new ball. Asks if he wants to hit one.
Oh, what a return. That's a big ball. Just early and down, right inside the service box.
That's something McNerney's really improved at the last couple of years. Taking that forehand off the deck.
He takes it on the high balls with it. Oh, what a move from Nolan. He reads it perfectly.
15-all.
Had them switching.
Oh, there was trouble. That was going to, they'd be lucky to get it off the transition, but he just didn't execute. I mean, it's a great move. You know, and that's what the players do. They wait for the right time to move when your opponent can't really see you anymore. Because if Hughes knows he's working up the lyre, he's not going to hit that down up over it. He's going to push it behind him, right? But it's just perfect time of the move. That's an important thing to do and to learn.
A lot of soft push overheads from Hughes Powers all of a sudden. Really a change in strategy.
You know, do you think it's because they're playing from a little bit behind now for the first time?
Maybe. But I mean, how many push overheads have we seen in the first set and a half?
I mean, they were cutting everything.
Right, here we've probably seen more this point than we had the rest of the match.
Yeah, no, they've had a few points like this now, and they've been, like we said, we saw that just a diet of like 100 of those. You know, oh, just great hands. Hughes Powers can shift into this. It's not their preference. They want to keep going. But at a certain point, this is a great recognition that, you know, we're a little behind, and there's just a great shot. Too good.
15-30.
We talked about earlier the number of ways that Hughes Powers have to win.
Really short.
Really, really short.
Yeah, exactly. On a scale of 1 to 10. I like it. The qualifiers are useful.
What?
That's cut off there. He tries to tag Nerney. It's good position.
Oh, Nolan switches hands.
Oh,
give that lefty forehand.
Wow. I mean, look at the spots they're
what
getting
a
with these
get
shots.
court. Great point.
Well, they're pushing them around, too, after they hit a drive. You know, it's just all scramble here from Hughes and Powers, even though they're at the net.
Oh. Rip from the 30s. Hughes just loading with the legs.
Nick, there it is. What a play.
Both feet were in the green on the overhead.
See him line it up, though.
Yep.
He's going right at it, and he perfectly places it in there. That's a great point. I mean, Hughes and Powers were at the net and scrambling that whole point. And they come through with a perfect overhead right at the end. They take a couple opportunities. Wow. Great stuff. Smart overhead there. He slows it up, pushes it through the middle.
volleys you talked about earlier.
They're lobbing really well here, McNerney and Nolan. Working them back out of position. Gives the opportunity to a couple of shots, but it's so hard to really put away Houston Powers. They do so well. It's a perfect point here from Nolan. I think all the teams are sort of recognizing we're at that moment, right?
Just gets beat by the spin. A little indecision there.
It's a great point, though.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's too good. Ah, great spot. That was a tough. That serve's hanging. When the serve hangs like that, it gives the player a moment to. You don't know where he's going to go with it. He didn't even hit it that hard. He just so many things to think about.
And hit it down.
Yeah. I think you probably you're better served usually on that type of serve to stay back. Yeah. It's hard to make that volley. Help call there. That looks like he's going at the crease, and great cutoff there from McNerney.
Another good job, McNerney, taking that ball high to low.
And that's a great ball. And you know, Houston Powers have made 100 of those volleys, but it's great. They're bringing some offense here, making them have to work. Great point. That's a big serve. Nice hands, and they forced another great job from McNerney Nolan.
Second set, 4 games to 2.
Great movement from Nolan. That ball traveled a long way.
Now let's see if they can get it up to a 5-2. They haven't been able to get that separation that you were talking about before, Mark.
Just got to play a faultless, solid game here. If they beat you, they beat you.
Yep.
But
sure.
Don't donate.
Yeah, don't gives. All right.
Durant Mitchell is through to the final. Aiming for noon. We'll see if that actually happens. High formation against Hughes. Seems
Yeah.
better returning from these guys.
Nolan held it love his last game, and he did it by serving and staying back and trying to hit balls in transition, and they're really getting a great control of their lobs here. And they did a great job, actually. We talked before about them winning points off their paddle. McNerney and Nolan were able to do that. Won the last 2 points in that last game with a couple of great spotted drives.
Good decision by Nolan. Let that ball through.
Right.
So tempting to hit that ball.
Well, you think you can do more, but you're just at a disadvantage. I think he got hit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hit him in the back. Great shot.
Sorry, buddy.
Oh, Kenny. Oh, that's
What an
just
exchange.
awesome hands. He just gives it
He
the old.
celebrates the win.
Yes.
You don't win too many hand-to-hand battles with Grant McNerney.
Ernie's tough, but I mean, you stepped right up. It's great. Took him down.
I love this formation.
What a get.
Unbelievable get from Powers.
And that's where the warm weather, I mean, that's about as good a drop as you can hit. It's just
How
the
could it
warm
be any
weather.
better?
I mean, yes, it's just the warm weather. You know, in a different type of scenario, that thing is not coming back. It's just,
Not in 30-degree weather, it's not.
it's the warm weather, and also great recognition and speed from Powers. You know, if you hit that against me, clearly it's a win.
30 all.
And again, McNerney dominating the net in the middle. They tried to slide the ball past him, and he burned him.
Nice job there, because, and what he's recognizing right now is, because Nolan's staying back, this is sort of one of the things that staying back does. Your opponents will have to start, or they start taking pace off their returns, because you don't want to hit them too hard because it makes an easy screen drive for the opponent. And once they start taking a pace off it, it sort of frees up the net guy to start moving around a little, and that's what he should be doing.
Great Nolan there.
That's how this sort of, the whole idea works for you.
Yep.
Nolan was bailing. Powers chose to lob that one.
Yeah, I thought he was going to hit it. What great hands. Again, the way he's working at that net.
Yo!
McNerney looking for the opportunity, anticipating that.
Powers' movement. So quick moving forward.
Yeah, no, he does an amazing job, and he does it from a standstill. He's not like, you know, like Hughes is always in motion. Powers just standing there, and then all of a sudden he's boom.
I got you. I got you.
Booth visit here from Anna Zabori. She gets ready for her not 10 o'clock start. See, they may actually be going at 10 o'clock no matter what, because the other semi-final is done.
Yep.
We'll see.
Me too. All
What a great third panel smash there from McNerney.
40-30.
Ball, he's making a waterfall out of a shot into the side screen by hitting it hard and down into the third panel.
Point for 5-2.
It's a big point there.
Yeah, they've been unable to get that separation.
Great job from McNerney now. Ooh!
What a dig from Powers right in front of us.
Yep. Help. Ew.
McNerney's net position has really kind of taken over the match in the last 20 minutes.
Well, it's a smart combo that he's really worked the right things, and there's a huge, big game for McNerney Nolan going up 5-2, gaining that separation.
And to win that point where Powers had the high forehand, they were both like cringing with the overhead went off of McNerney's battle.
Yeah, but he's a little off balance. It wasn't a layup. And they earned that by playing the strategy they did. With Nolan serving and staying back, it takes away the target and the hard return. And if they hit it too hard, because then Nolan hits a transition drive back and McNerney stays up, they still gain the net.
Remedy Plus, the 2022-23 APTA Tour is brought to you by Remedy Plus. Raise your paddle game to a whole new level with clean, natural, great tasting protein bars and energy shots by Remedy Plus. High performance has never tasted so good.
And there you go, a couple of bananas there at 5-2 to fuel their attempt at making this a three-setter. McNerney and Nolan, and now the strategy, we were talking about that a little before, it just changes everything. And then once Powers and Hughes have to start taking a little pace off the return, that's where McNerney really went to work in that game. He took over the net, he was cutting off all the first drives, so they were able to then hold the net and actually putting pressure on it. So great job for McNerney up there.
And again, playing to your strengths. Right, taking away the target, as you mentioned. Nolan's driven the ball exceptionally well off the back wires. 2 consecutive holds for him.
And they finally have a little separation here.
Okay, so Mark Powers disturbed to stay in the set.
Now we'll see here if Hughes and Powers start to actually slow it down a little and start to try to play the air free, or if they just stay out. That's just a little long. No, it's in.
It was out. I don't know why you're not calling.
Yeah, to me it was out.
I thought the ball was out too.
McNerney's
called
basically
it out.
calling it out.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know why you're not calling it. He's like, are you messing with me by not calling that out?
Like Powers couldn't quite decide. I'll play it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hit the ball at the last second.
15 love. It looked out to me, you know, from where we're standing here.
Sitting. Looks to me like you're sitting.
I am. But yeah, it's great sportsmanship there, and like we talked about, McNerney overruled it, called it out himself. Players have the option to do it. That's why too. They could have really messed with him and tried to call that one in too. See what happened. McNerney's head would have exploded.
2 missed lobs is not how you want to start a game when there's a chance to close a set out.
It's not ideal. You got to put the pressure on, but they've really done a great job in this set, making a couple little adjustments. this thing is now you see Hughes and Powers going at some cuts, and this is how they played the entire first set, just attacking.
30-15.
Another missed cutter, though.
Nolan has also just cleaned up those little cracks in the air, like the couple of silly errors here and there. They've really cleaned up their act on what they're going for right now. Nolan. Great shot.
40-15.
I love those volleys.
Volley was just behind him.
He does it more than anybody else. It's sort of like a little slap shot volley. Anybody makes it. Almost
Hughes takes the opportunity to
90%.
peg McNerney after the point's over. I think that was a smart play.
The opportunity is there, right? See Powers go way off the court. All the room's a wide arcing swing for Hughes. Takes that heavy cut.
Remember at Nationals in Pittsburgh, Brad, where he took that huge cut, lost the paddle, it bounced on the court, it bounced over the fence.
That's kind of a little.
That was a little
we have a lead game from McNerney. there.
McNerney Nolan lead the second
And they're,
set. 5 games to 3.
And that was a little
Seemed
bit
like
of a
he's
flirt there.
content to serve it out, because that wasn't the shots like that weren't the shots that got him to get him 5-3.
That serve was close.
All right, great serve there from
15 love. Tough serve, dude. Right on.
Hughes says great serve right on.
Yep. Right on the line.
30 love.
Missed return there. You see some of the happiness on McNerney's face. Just a missed return, 2 in a row. Yeah, that's power call.
No. Oh my God, get out.
30-15.
Guys are playing loose. I like it.
There you go, let's go.
Big moment right here.
That's why
Mark, do that.
Very sort of pressure from
30
the
all.
Hughes blitz.
the Hughes blitz definitely pushed that ball wide. He saw him coming. He tried to make a touch volley wide. Hard to control the pace of Powers. Return.
Ah!
That was a wild point.
40-30.
Just a set point.
Yeah, so 3 missed returns in this game were all 3 of the points from Nolan. That doesn't give you an indication Hughes Powers that keep swinging, right? It's out. 4 missed returns. Closes out that second set.
Just a shocking game.
I mean, it's fascinating stuff. Again, great action. All right, so we'll be back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by My Paddle.
High performance never tasted this good. Chocolate, berries, cinnamon, agave. Fuel your car, then fuel your body with Remedy Plus.
Hi, my name is Johan Durant. Today I'm going to show you my drop shot. Most people, when they ask me about the drop shot, think of the complicated shot with spin. It's really a very simple shot. Performing the shot is the easy part. Reading the game and getting to a position where you can execute it is the hard part. So ideally, 3 things I want to concentrate on. One is I want to read a pattern of what my opponent's doing. So I got to know that he's going to hit a weaker shot that I can take advantage of. Normally, I'm not going to be on the net. I'm not going to be sitting there because I'm vulnerable for a lob. But if I can read bad drives from my opponent or shots where their back's turned to me, that's when I'm going to move up. Second one is I want to get to the net in balance. I do not want to be moving when I hit that drop shot. It's going to be very difficult to diffuse the pace. And the third thing is, if the ball hits my paddle loses the collision. So if the ball comes, I want my paddle to go slightly backwards. If my paddle goes through or stops there, the ball's going to explode off my paddle a little bit. It's not going to work as effectively. I would start here, I'd move in, be balanced, and then I just lose the collision. Thank you for your time. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. A few quick takeaways for you. Try to make sure your paddle loses a collision. You're balanced when you're at the net, and if you want to get real fancy, you can sometimes with that same swing not hit a drop shot but push it deep, and that's going to be very effective and less predictable. See you on the paddle courts.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour presented by Remedy Plus and our exciting semi-final matchup between number 3 seeds of Hughes and Powers and McNerney and Nolan, who just went on to take that second set 6-3 in, I wouldn't say shock, maybe shocking fashion. There'd be 4 missed returns from Hughes and Powers.
I'm shocked.
In that last game.
I'm shocked.
So, but a great job and a little different. You know, we always talk about little strategy considerations there. Nolan staying back and then, you know, forcing Hughes and Powers to take a little pace off their return, and then McNerney starting to do work up there at the net, help them hold a few more times. And Hughes and Powers just kind of a few errors in a few moments. They're the ones who had the errors and the cracks there. You know, I mean, a 4 missed return game to close it out for McNerney-Nolan, and finally, McNerney-Nolan actually able to get some separation. Good strategy use.
I mean, at 30 all for Hughes Powers at the back wires, consecutive return of serves, just that's shocking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's frustration, but a great job there. McNerney-Nolan really smart, and Hughes and Powers having the conversations out there. You know, it is always an interesting situation. I mean, really for McNerney-Nolan, it's a nothing to lose, right? You know, they're not the favorites in this match. You know, they can play loose or, you know, have kind of a different thought process. If they lose, it's no big deal. It's actually a bigger loss, right, for Hughes and Powers, and a bigger deal for where they're going right now. So it's curious if that pressure is a part of what's going on out there. Great race. There's the hit call, and he hits the soft push overhead, and McNerney just plugs Powers with it.
And for the first time today, they're ahead.
And, you know, kudos also to Thomas Nolan, who sort of reined in some of the game. He was going much more toe-to-toe with them, and I don't know if it was a conversation for McNerney and Nolan. It doesn't look like it. It's more like just a recognition of what was going on. And he's made much fewer errors, a lot better, and he's still taking occasional offense when he's got it. In the first set, like, there's a great drive and a nice spot. And in the first set, they weren't winning any points with those type of balls, and now they're getting them.
With that forehand, just kind of taking it high to low. Really effective with that shot.
You know, one of the things that's unique about McNerney's game, he's such a good block lobber that it actually allows him the ability to hit all these 3-quarter kind of, you know, push little drives, which can be very dangerous. If your opponent can read them, they can come in, hit drop volleys or cuts or offensive shots, but he's so good at holding his lob that the opponents always stay a little off the net. So he just kind of uses it like a jab, like a boxing jab to soften up his opponent.
Nolan had read that one. Didn't commit to coming forward.
Yeah, and all that pressure that they were adding that you're seeing here, again, they're trying to put some pressure on there. That's been pretty much gone from the Hughes and Powers game. You know, the first set was hard and fast, and I think a lot of it has to do with just how the strategy changed a little from Nolan and McNerney. Sharp down ball. Great volley from Hughes.
Go, go, go.
McNerney is playing some great paddle right now.
Yeah, he's moving the lobs around. It's great to have a telestretch. You can see him, he's going left, and then he's going right, and he's pushing one guy off the net at all times.
No.
Get a look there. Great shot there from Hughes.
30 all.
Likes to block it. He's not sure what the spin's going to do. A bit, probably come off the back, but he was really moving that ball around. Perfect for McNerney Nolan. It's not toe-to-toe, they're working the lobs.
Go.
You commented on it earlier, but the decision-making from McNerney Nolan is exactly
Volley.
Hughes.
I mean, what a move there from Nolan, too. Just perfect recognition of the time.
Smoked that ball out of about 10 feet away.
So much of these players are so good. They have great hands, but it's also the position and where they stand and having to paddle up in the front of that ball is just right into his paddle. Point they want to play. Eventually, Powers and Hughes, I think, are going to go for something here. They may make it, but and Nolan took a perfect strike before. He's waiting for that same strike again. Yeah, right now he's going to keep working until he gets it. That's a big hit. Nice blitz move. See the problem there? Nolan's got to be smart.
Got to lob that ball.
He's got it on. He's not stepping up and in, and Hughes is back in too early. He's too fast. Right?
Great overhead from Hughes on the McNerney blitz.
And great shot. He put it away from him, and then he got back in time, and Nolan took the drive. It was a great point, though. Perfectly played, actually. Just a mistake on that last drive. Should not have played that shot out of it.
Hey, Hughes Powers.
Good job.
Nolan gets caught in tight again. Really feel like the first few games of the third set are really important to McNerney Nolan. I mean, you feel like Hughes Powers can win from anywhere, right? You feel if Hughes Powers get on top of him, it's going to be very hard.
Yeah. Well, what's great about this style of play that, you know, Nolan and McNerney are doing is it gives them the best chance to win points, but it's not the easiest to come back from. It's like, you know, you're trying to put them in a vice, you know, where you get a few errors and you take your one shot. And Nolan took an amazing drive there early on. He just didn't beat him, but it's the perfect kind of point to play.
Well, Powers looking for some nutrition, put an order in.
Now, the last game, there were 4 missed returns. Let's add that to 5. So we're just kind of bring, you know, not give them the jinx, but to just say, if they're a little off on their returns, that's a big part of the Hughes Powers game, right? If they're losing some timing here, it's the way they generally win a lot of points or apply a lot of extra pressure.
forehand.
30 love.
He took a cut at that one, didn't he? Did it look like it was frustration or just...
And then he takes the cut at the next one. Shows you the confidence he's got in the forehead.
Oh, a little left cord.
30,
Ball,
15.
McNerney can get that one.
He missed 3 returns in a row and came back and swung at the 4th.
You know, there are times when I played like where I felt like I had to just rip one, and whether I made it or missed it, it helped. You know what I mean? Like you just let it go because it
40,
lets go
15.
for frustration, or it lets go. It just allows you to kind of loosen up, even if you lose the point sometimes. I don't know if that was that for him, but
40,
This is
30.
a fast game.
really fast. They're not building points; they're attacking.
Right here, Graham. Set.
Oh my God! Those hands up there were incredible. Those were not easy shots.
Nolan almost had the answer, too.
I mean, Nolan did an amazing job cutting that off and bringing it down in there.
Back to deuce.
Show me.
I mean, that was just great hands from Hughes.
All of a sudden, you see Nolan using some signals.
God lost the ball.
Lucky there.
So aggressive.
Vintage McNerney.
Lucky there. Nolan was in huge trouble.
Graham, serve here. Okay.
Hughes makes that shot. We talk about what a bad decision it was to drive that ball. And honestly, it was a bad decision to drive that ball, win or lose. Have we seen like 2 lobs in the game?
No, this is back and forth. And we talked about it a little bit before. It's back and forth is not really what
McNerney Nolan won.
Right. They need spotted opportunities, not back and forth. The more back and forth it gets, the more, like for instance, if you take the first set and you kind of juxtaposition it against the second. You don't remember in the first set how Hughes was just running around the court, he's moving up the wire, he's doing all. That's when they're at their best.
Yep.
We haven't seen that as much in the second because essentially Nolan and McNerney took that away from them, right? And that's the key. They want to keep that to be the situation. They don't want Hughes and Powers to start running around. Hughes especially, actually. That's a tough drive. What a dig.
Powers gotten every single drop shot.
Yeah, just really good legs. Oh, good setup ball, but an awesome overhead from McNerney. So tall.
Yep.
Just picking balls off the ground.
Yep.
That roller from Nolan deep in the court is a little risky. He's so good at it, though.
Help.
He's certainly been effective with it right now. He's really spotting it perfectly right to the back end. If Hughes is really giving nothing on those.
Yep.
Execute it. What's dangerous is when he does it, right? But there's McNerney realizing the situation.
Three consecutive chip drives in a row.
McNerney-esque.
See Hughes looking for the waterfall there, just creeping in.
Yep. Yep.
Powers actually hitting soft drives, and then all of a sudden he'll rip one. Right, that's sort of how he
Vintage
uses it.
McNerney.
Soft drives almost like a setup for the big one. Went to one-timer there. Big, big point there from McNerney Nolan.
McNerney read it right at him.
Yes. I go here. Yes.
Eye formation.
Oh God. I walked you in out.
I love that. It's so quick. What a great drive right at him.
Such an instinctive move, but why is he turning his back?
I mean, what would you do?
Keep that
Take it in
paddle
the
up there.
front?
Keep
Take
that
it in the
paddle
front.
up there.
Now.
Flag that one.
Vintage McNerney.
Really struggling with that forehand right now.
Serve here, yeah. Okay. Here we go. Right here. This point. Let's go.
Sir, stay back wisely.
Trouble.
shot from Nolan.
Hey, McNerney Nolan. Score is 1-0. Third set. Great catch.
Okay, new ball.
You want to hit it some?
Powers to serve.
Yeah, you just go into the pace of play between the two semifinals, right? You have Humphries and Assis Koenig against Durant and Mitchell going 3 sets. It was 6-1 in the third, but they've been done for about a half hour.
Yeah.
Now, right? And we're just in the beginning stages of a set that could go an hour. And it's not specifically slow play. It's been a great mix of all of it. You know? You know, it's a lot of attacking, some shifts in momentum, and shifts in how they want to approach each of these points. Wow, great shot. But McNerney and Nolan, you know, definitely have this in a place where I could see them getting a win here, right? You know, they're lobbing it, going right in there. You know, sometimes we say, well, I don't see it happening this way. They got the right pace, you know. It's working in there. They make good adjustments. Not letting Hughes and Powers just fly around the court.
Oops. 15 love.
Sun's coming out, temperatures rising. Interesting to see if the players have trouble controlling their lobs.
Wow. I tell you, some amazing fouls from Hughes today. Great read from McNerney, 6'4" frame.
Oh, what a pickup from Powers on the nick.
He just flicks them.
Wow. Just tremendous action.
McNerney just reading his shots. Oh, that's a highlight reel point.
Fantastic action.
That was a highlight reel point.
30 love.
Crazy stuff. Thumbs up from Hughes. That was just an amazing point.
Wow. McNerney continues to pound that forehand.
No, but that's using the real forehand grip there. Usually he just uses the Continental and he hits down on it. It's like a real forehand. He hit him hard. Great swings.
Hugo. Go.
Two bad decisions we've seen from Nolan in a while.
Yeah, a little bit on his heels, not moving up and into it.
And too deep in the court.
Yeah, and their strategy really is designed to lob for a specific result and then take that one opportunity. That was not specifically it. McNerney hits those off-base drives. That's sort of his mojo. I think Nolan's job is to be the thunder. You know, take the one ball and hammer that thing.
Vicious overhead.
Ooh,
he's almost dug out.
Hughes Powers, they lead the third set.
Good efficient hold there from Hughes and Powers.
Pace is picked up. Great crowd.
Nice close-up there at Thomas Nolan. Hit the deck early in that first set. Bandaged up his knee.
Bounced back up.
Go.
What's Powers hat say Crosta? You think that's about Ray Crosta?
I don't know. Ray Crosta has a line of energy bars.
His own brand. His own brand.
Very nice. So bringing up a Jersey legend, Ray Crosta.
I wouldn't limit Ray just to Jersey. Just a legend. A legend is sufficient.
Legend?
Yeah.
Legendary Tennessee Volunteer fan.
There you go. Cincinnati Bengal fan.
Bengal fan.
Here we go. Thomas Nolan to serve. Hughes continues to pound away at that forehand. Almost successfully there.
Yeah, but again, cut off by McNerney. And that's what they've done so well in the second set. Is Nolan staying back, not coming in, not challenging the first volley, and letting McNerney cut it off. And if he can't, then they'll just go back. It's been very, very successful and smart.
Help, I go. You!
Great pace changes here from McNerney. Oh, good move.
Yep.
That's his ball right there.
15 love.
He likes it a little higher. He tried to turn it up the high part of the net. He was there. We've seen a few opportunities. McNerney's taken a few. It's not super simple because he's not set up. He is moving to his left, to his right to hit it.
Again, great cutoff from McNerney.
Yeah, he's really doing what he should be doing.
It's a winner.
That is the key to McNerney's game. That net
30 love.
making a huge difference here.
It's been the dominant factor in the match the last half hour.
Stick of a drive from Powers there, and you're absolutely right.
Another cutoff there.
Drink the water there, Mark. Wow. If they go on to win this match, you know, that plays right there would be one of the difference makers for sure. And the reasons why.
Help.
Finally beat Powers with the top volley.
40 love.
Yeah, that one he had nothing. He couldn't see that one in a heartbeat. McNerney is starting to read these things. He knew Hughes was taking that before Hughes knew it, and he was right there.
Again, same thing. Great cutoff.
Hey, McNerney Nolan, score it 2-all third set.
Smart strategy. Nolan staying back, let McNerney do the work at the net. And right now, he's trying to hit through it a little bit, Hughes. He's going to have to start setting him up with some lobs, pushing him down the line, get him off that net.
Thank you. Watch. You. Yep.
That's a good lob drive combination from Nolan.
Love 15.
Standard pushes him back off the net, gets a little bit of a short ball, takes it right back at the guy who's coming in. Well, you want somebody who's missed a lot of those volleys? It's just another ball he's got to make, and eventually we're going to miss.
What?
Great exchange from Nolan. Oh, great lob from McNerney.
It was, and it was a dangerous switch of the court there from Hughes.
Oh, Jonathan! No!
Another great exchange between Hughes and McNerney.
Wow. Puts him in the chest. McNerney was like, I think I got this one. Got it in the chest is where you got it. That was a great shot. Another great exchange. It's been a fun match, great sportsmanship. Feels like all the players are out there competing hard, but still having fun. That's out.
15-30.
Switch there from McNerney, smart. Nolan moving so much to the other side of the court. Better to switch than go back.
15-40.
That cut overhead we talked earlier about, it was in the plus side of the equation. It's getting closer and closer to just about even, right?
Yeah, we really shouldn't track that stat.
No.
Because it is, a unique
30,
thing. Put so much
40.
pressure on with it, but if you're missing 10 and making 10, it's a zero-sum game, right?
That was the first return to serve we've seen McNerney miss in a long time.
really stepped up the level. So is Nolan, just in the smart way he's been playing, right?
Yep.
You know, early on at the beginning, comments, Nolan, just a couple errors creeping in, and they were wrong choices, wrong times. He's basically put most of those away.
Yeah, he's not hitting the 50-50 ball or the 60-40 ball. He's hitting the ball that you got to hit.
Look, you want to lob for specific results and look for those results and take the results. Not the one that just comes along.
I don't know.
He's so good at recognizing.
No. That was out. Yep.
When the opponents are in a bad, awkward position.
No, McNerney's gone level way up here in his recognition of what he's doing and the play there. And there he just makes a mental error trying to hit a third panel smash, which was there, just missed it. Oh.
Vintage Hughes.
3 errors in a row from McNerney after playing some spectacular paddle.
Well, maybe we shouldn't compliment him so much.
Wow.
Dave
McNerney
Hughes Powers.
left the building.
They lead the third
Some
set.
of the shots he's been hitting, he just made errors, right? But you're right. 4 errors in a row after we,
Extolled his virtues.
That's right. There you go.
Remedy Plus, the 2022-23 APT Tour is brought to you by Remedy Plus. When you need the extra boost to the paddle court, grab a great tasting, body fueling Remedy Plus bar and Remedy Plus shot. Fuel your body with Remedy Plus. So what do you think, Bradford? How do you see this thing unfolding?
I mean, it's just a great match, to be honest. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I mean, I think it'll come down to that. Strange little cracks.
Yeah, that was a big game for them to lose.
I mean, look, Hughes, it's a big game for them to lose being up love 30, is the way we'll say it, right?
15-40. And then he missed the last 4 balls.
Yeah. So it's a tough situation, in that regard.
No.
And Hughes and Powers make it seem like they're going to hit. So it's just going to come down to who's going to execute or have a little blur. Because McNerney and Nolan have this down to where they want. Hughes and Powers are doing what they do, just going for it.
Cover there.
15 all.
I'm not even sure what Nolan was trying to do with that ball. Kind of drove it, but didn't really hit it.
Yeah, it wasn't out in front like he was going to block. He was taking a swing, and it's off balance. It's a strange miss, actually.
And then they make the mistake of serving the Hughes backhand. And they were getting so much from the Hughes forehand.
They figured we're getting more well, in fairness, Hughes moved around it to take it with his backhand there and hit the chopper, one-hander off the screen there. And Nolan's got to stay on the line, but Ernie get in there. Screen drive from Ernie. That overhead there, that was a tricky one. He has the offense, but he's got to hit it into the side screen first. Once it hit the back screen, explodes up and over. Easy get there from you.
Yes.
Maybe the right call would have been actually just a push overhead low at the snowboard, too.
I think so. Yes, I think so.
I like Hughes calls in the middle. I think so.
I think so.
Not 100% sure. It's tough to know.
Yes. You.
Really don't think so. There's yes or no.
Hit.
I think so if you're not 100%
Got that,
sure.
Thomas.
Oh, and he beats him. That's brilliant play from Powers.
15-40.
3 minutes ago was 15-40 the other way.
And what he did there was great. Normally he would. I think Nolan expected McNerney to be back behind him there, but Powers held him. It looked like he was going to hit an inside-out shot to McNerney's side. He sort of held him with it. Wise stay back there from
Hughes. Little 5-hole action.
Oh.
Well, he's not had
30,
success
40
all day.
That to me wasn't, I don't know, it looked like a last-second decision to me. Like, he was going to block it, then all of a sudden he's going to try to put a tough shot in. That was just a tough ball to execute. Smart lob there.
Just gets so low in that volley.
Go, go.
I don't like them switch
One.
like this. They've had real
Yes.
problems, and that beats them.
And that was a perfect
Game,
combination. The
Hughes
first one
Powers,
he spins
they lead
into
the
the back
third
screen,
set,
which
4
moves
games to 2.
Nolan up to the side. Nolan's had a better lob there. Now he's trapped in the side, and he cuts it into the side wire, and it dies behind him.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a beautiful play, but a little separation now. Hughes Powers, they can hold here.
And in that deuce court, you better be really comfortable to face the John Hughes overhead.
Right, but you know, in those points there, we saw them, you know, McNerney and Nolan lose control of the lob that they had before. Remember, they were lobbing so well. Hughes Powers had to go into pushing it. That was all bing, bang, boom, right? They lost control of the lob game that they were using.
And then the first point we see Nolan blitzing, which we've seen very little of.
Right.
I mean, this is a tough volley.
You know, I think for them, you know, let's say they go away winning, or if they go back losing this, they'll see these moments where they had certain controls of the matches, then they just got away from it. These little moments for McNerney and Nolan.
He's got overhead powers that was going to be wide.
I'm gonna go with I don't know.
You think so?
I think so. I don't know.
Coming your way.
I haven't seen a single back underspin spinning back into the net there. I feel like on those balls, if he was having full confidence, he would go for that shot, the back spinner into the net.
Yeah, he's missed a couple of them.
Here's the lob game that we want to see from Nolan, where it's controlled.
30 love.
It's his shot, just doesn't execute.
30 love. 30 love.
All for the day we've seen from Powers.
As far as I remember, he's been serving rock solid. He's got good leg drive action up into it. You see he sort of squats up and just floats it in there. It's a pretty hard serve. There's a lot on it.
Go. Yeah.
Powers just said forehand volley unlike anybody else. It's kind of like lays the wrist open. But those are the misses you can't afford at this point of the match.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing what he does. He's trying to get a lob down the line. There's no fault in that. Overcooks it a little. Maybe what you mentioned before, it is heating up out there. There's a lot of sun. McNerney, from the moment we were talking about how great he's played, he's just started making a few errors.
Yep.
I mean, you can't say that's a bad look. Ball's high off the screen. He's going. He's taking a shot.
Nope.
He's just been
Right
missing.
shot.
He's
Just
been
didn't
missing.
execute. Yeah, just didn't execute.
Lob before, he's trying to put it right on the line. You know, the old adage is never lob out and never drive in the net. Well, he just lobbed out and drove it in the net.
Right.
You know, those are the number one, number two kind of statements you make, right? You want to be a player, a good player. So, comes down to execution.
Well, from 2-all, 15-40. Last 3 games have been not pretty. Now they'll serve to stay in the match. It's been a terrific match. Really a lot of fun.
It's been great. You know, and actually from the moment I think we said it was around 2-all when I was saying I think, you know, McNerney and Nolan have this to play for, they could win this match, right? And from that moment on, it's really, and when, you know, it's just gone the other way with the execution. There's a fault to start.
Punch, Grant, sorry, dude. Love 15.
It's like the air's been let out of that balloon.
A little bit, and but that's sort of what we talk about when we talk about they've been playing uphill the whole day.
Yep.
And their margin for error is smaller than, say, Hughes and Power teams, right? You know, that's these are the exact things we're talking about. Like when they're playing on, they can win this match. But once there's a crack, wow, it went down fast.
Now they're 2 points from the match.
It's not over now, but it looks like it's over. You know, like
How's
it's
that
just
feel,
moving
doesn't it?
that way, right?
Nolan win from 2-all, 15-40.
Good hands. Yeah.
Yeah, like 1 or 2 points.
Like
last 4 games. Fixes the triple match point.
Great volley from Nolan there.
15-40.
Here's where, like, if they can get it to deuce, maybe there's some life back in the balloon, right?
Yeah.
A little more air in the balloon here, but a couple more match points here for Hughes Bowers.
Go ahead, Mark.
This is it. Game, set, and match. Hughes Bowers 6-4, 3-6, 6-2.
Extremely entertaining match, Mark. Any thoughts? I mean, great sportsmanship, fun play by all players. They were tagging each other, knocking each other down, picked each other up.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Just kind of a disappointing end. I mean, the last 4 games, just like, boom.
Yeah, we had, exactly what we thought. We were going a real battle on our hands, and then all the air got let out of the balloon in that moment. I think it comes to what we were just talking about. There's just less margin for them, and then all of a sudden, like you said, we were really just talking about how great. We both said at the same time, we're extolling his virtues. Maybe we shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And then there were 4 errors in a row, and then from there on, it was just
boom.
Yeah. Right. I mean, so just less margin for error, and they had it to a place where I think they could have. Taken it,
yeah,
or made a real match of it. And then
2-all, 15-40 in the 3rd set.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're not the favorites at that point. It's getting close.
I mean, yeah, but like you said, there's just less room for error.
Yep.
But what is surprising, what your point really is, I think what your point is, agree with me if you
My
want.
point is going to be whatever you say. It's going to be Bradford. So.
No, your point is that it's just a shocking end to
Yes.
from that moment
Yes.
to there, like how all the air just got let out of the balloon, right?
They played so solidly, and then just like 15 errors.
Yeah. So I agree with you, but more great action to come. We're going to be right back in a few moments here with the women's final. Charlotte Sikora and Allison Morgan against Hanish and Zabori, the relatively unstoppable train of Hanish and Zabori.
Yep.
And so that's coming up right back with Mark Fischel and Lauren Mandel. We'll be right back in a few minutes right here on the APTA Network presented by